Welcome to an impromptu podcast with my wife. She's here.
Hi.
About a movie we just watched 2 minutes ago entitled Eighth Grade.
Yeah, go ahead.
Eighth Grade. It's the directorial debut of musical comedian Bo Burnham. And there are mixed... I love it when a fucking movie gives me mixed opinions.
Well, I mean, okay, so like our typical movie watching is like it's something that's either garbage or amazing, and we usually know what we're getting before we go in.
Yeah. If you're here, it's assumed that you have watched the movie or are okay with being spoiled completely. You as soon as it went off, you said that movie goes on for how many more awkward takes than
that movie is too long, and I don't mean runtime. It's an hour and a half. It's a perfectly acceptable length for a movie. It has way too many of the same goddamn scene. Oh, I'm going to put myself in a social situation. This is awkward and makes me unhappy.
Well,
next scene.
Well, I'm not gonna say what I like about it, but it's like unflinchingly awkward.
Right, yeah, and it knows exactly what it is, and I respect the movie for that. That doesn't make it watchable.
Well, and we'll talk about technical choices in a little bit, but there are moments where movies feel like they drag on because they are obviously and purposefully awkward situations.
Yes. You cannot make a movie about 8th grade and not have awkward situations. I get that. To have that be the entire movie... Until the end, which we'll talk about the ending later.
Okay, we'll get to one at a time, yeah. But the phrase I used at the end was, it's like Napoleon Dynamite with teeth.
Yeah, well...
So they are similarly awkward, drawn-out scenes that are used for a different tone.
Yeah, Napoleon, and granted, I don't like Napoleon Dynamite, so...
No, she doesn't.
Take that as you will. With Napoleon Dynamite, it's played for like a comedic effect. It's like, oh, isn't being a nerd weird? And in 8th grade, it's played more of a, God, isn't being a teenager just awful?
Well, is there a movie where you felt like they were going for, isn't being a teenager awful? Like Mean Girls or something?
No, Mean Girls was played to comedic effect. It really was. It does the teen comedy way better than Napoleon Dynamite.
A movie that I haven't seen but really, really nails what it's like to... School is shitty would be the movie Bully.
I've never seen.
Well, I haven't seen it either, but that's the point. It's supposed to bring issue to these are bad situations, but we're not talking about that. And
disclaimer here, you can make a movie being a teenager and have it portray real teen life. I think 8th grade does that very well. When we cut off the movie, one of the first things I said was, I thought it was going to... this movie could have gone one of two ways. Throwing a constant, awkward slugfest, just the bitchy bullies, and like, just make you feel like steel wool inside of how awful being a teenager is. Which it kind of did. It also could have gone, she changed herself for the better and realizes that life goes on after 8th grade. And it kind of does that too. And the marriage of the two does not necessarily make a good movie, but going to either extreme would have made for an awful movie.
Just a believe in yourself movie would have,
Yeah, and just a like, oh my God, like, teen depression angst.
You did warn me, and I did come around to this. You warned me when we started, because the first scene is especially good, and we'll get to it. But you did warn me, don't like this just because it's a Bo Burnham movie.
Yeah, and I wanted to get to that later when we talked about more of the technical aspects of the movie, but I really did not want people to jump onto this movie because Bo Burnham directed it.
Because Bo Burnham and an indie darling or whatever, A24 is on fire right now with a ton of indie hits.
You love A24.
I really respect A24 for doing weird shit.
Right on.
It's gonna come down later, but I also really respect Lionsgate as a really well-founded thing. They brought me like the Saw franchise and the Bratz movie.
They've also brought a lot of shit too.
Yes, of course, but we'll get there. The reason that I believed Bo could do this is because he's got a lot of lesser known songs that don't make his normal release albums. They don't make his shows. Songs like Nerds or his ending speech at the end of Make Happy.
Right, yeah, I wasn't questioning Bo's qualifications to make this show. I was hoping that what would happen... I didn't want this movie to become Dream Daddy, where everybody jumps on board, not because they're interested in the subject
but because
matter.
the message is important.
No, but because Bo Burnham directed it. People loved Dream. People picked up Dream Daddy not because they want to say, "Oh, gay boys." They wanted to play a game made by the Game Grumps.
Yeah, and a lot of people were disappointed by that. But I think that nobody's going to be a great director the first time. Nobody. Okay, that's not true. It's hard to be good the first time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to be good at anything.
There are points we'll bring up where because he wrote and directed it, where both of those could have been improved on. So the main character has one parent, a dad, and for almost the entire movie, not discussed, which I loved. I really dig that.
Yeah. And you had said something about how you looked up like the scenes with the dad were weird or whatever.
I didn't look up the scenes with the dad. It's I browsed a properly spoiler alerted TV tropes page, and a lot of the examples of awkward were like basically every scene with the dad. And okay, talk about the dad then, because the dad his actor did a really good job.
Yeah, no, the dad was acted very well. I'm more questioning his role and his writing when I act. Yeah, the actor was done very well. Well done. I do really like, I will say this, the scenes with the dad are given just as much weight as the scenes with her friends. So, like, it is just as awkward for her to interact with her dad as it is to interact with people.
Yes.
Should we explain that? Like the main character, she's the shy, quiet, timid, not standoffish, but she kind of like fades into the background. And this movie is about like, you know, her wanting to be more confident and step out of that. She makes YouTube videos.
Which is what I love the most, and what made me gasp there, the first scene, which is maybe the best scene in the movie. That's not true. It was how unprofessional and unprepared and kind of bad the videos were.
Right.
But the fact that she does them anyway.
Right, and I mentioned this. We are so trained in our society, and I fell into this trap and I tried to get out of it. We are so trained by society to shit on everything that middle school girls like.
I felt that too. Like when I don't know who she has in a movie where she's on the phone. There's a picture of a sexy boy from a boy band or something, Bieber or somebody.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck Bieber. Like we're so ingrained to shit on things that.
Right, yeah, and people like shit on teens going through angst without recognizing that A, you did it too, and B, that it's a part of growing up in life is going through not only the awkward phases, but the things, the times where you think shit is way more important than it is. Like when you were 5 and thought that you not getting a fruit snack after dinner was the end of the fucking planet.
And I felt bad with the arc trajectory of the film because I felt like her learning to be confident in herself with the karaoke night at the pool party, that happened way too early, and I started to get really worried about where the rest of the plot was going.
Well, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't go anywhere. Nothing happened because of it. She was just as quiet and weird in the next scenes.
Okay, so it happens a little bit, and it happens slowly and often, I guess, yes, without good pacing. But I want to talk about the best scenes in the movie, and I think you'll agree.
The ending.
The ending, but more importantly, all of the scenes involving the vlog.
Well, yeah, so there's a lot of scenes where she's doing something, and overlaced on top of that is audio from one of her videos.
Yes.
They're advice videos, by the way.
And they're very, very, the advice videos about just the most generic stuff.
Like being yourself and putting yourself out there.
And being confident and wearing the right going out makeup.
Yeah.
That I guess I like that. But right, one is coming because you can hear diegetically 3 beeps that tell her before she records that's when she has to start talking.
Yeah.
And it sets you up for these, which are repeatedly over and over again my favorite scenes in the movie.
I liked them at first. They kind of cooled off on me. I started recognizing for what they were, which is emotional peaks for the valleys of the awkward scenes.
Okay, all right. So it kind of takes the. Okay,
it's just so the movie can go up and down.
Okay, so it's you get to see inside and then outside, because when you're a teenager, it's so separated, I guess.
What is so separated?
You know, it's hard to be. One thing that worried me about the movie is that there's a scene where she gives a letter thanking them for going to the pool party, and they're all on their phones, and I could not tell how much of that was real and how much of that was satire because I'm so disconnected with middle schoolers.
Right, and that was part of my issue too. You know, I was not bullied in school, not because people weren't bitches, but because I didn't give a shit.
I was bullied, but I'm not talking about the bullying. I'm talking about
well, that's essentially what they were.
how like the degree to which people were attached to their phones.
Right, her included.
Yeah, of course, everybody included. And I really like that it wasn't about aren't phones bad because they're a presence.
Right, that was nice.
That could have been so shitty. Oh my god.
Yeah, it is not a phones are bad territory. It's simply commenting on the fact that these people are on their devices all the time.
And it impacts the plot, but it doesn't make a normative claim about the plot.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that impacts people's lives and it needs to be touched upon. You can't it's like a horror movie that tries to act like cell phones don't exist.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't.
Can we talk about the rape scene?
Jesus, okay. One at a time. Wow.
Attempted rape scene. It's not that kind of movie.
That's not back away. Okay. You're about
or do you want to talk about the party first?
You're about to get on the plane. We have to get in the cab to the airport first.
Okay. Well, let's go see.
Let's talk about the normal tone of a lot of the scenes, which are an attempt at a social interaction that falls really flat, and they're not long scenes, but they feel long.
They feel long, and they're supposed to. But I'm like, for a scene, if you're gonna draw out scenes like that, I'm like, oh, life is awkward. There needs to be less of them. You can make that same impact with a few interactions. It does not have to be your entire movie.
Like so you have no tolerance for cringe humor. I have a small tolerance for cringe humor.
Little to no tolerance.
My brother could watch cringe humor for days.
Oh god.
But you said like. I don't know that I can take many more of these scenes, and I'm like I'm not there yet, but I can sense that there is a limit on how many of these spin your wheels awkward moments you can have.
And I never want to be that person of like, oh no, you can't portray awkwardness. No, this is necessary in that movie. I understand that it is overdone to the point of undermining its message.
That's really interesting.
I sit there I sit there and watch a scene where she is in a swimsuit and about to go interact with people, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be really awkward. She's going to go down somewhere and not interact with anybody.
It is going to be
awkward.
And
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and there are like tracking shots that like will let you see extra shit, extra stuff, and you can feel it's palpable. You don't have to have the prolonged scene. You can get that, and a lot of the tracking shots and the setups for these scenes are very well done, and you know kind of what they're going for.
And there's a scene where oh, I'm going to go finally talk to that boy I've been eyeballing. And we'll talk about the music later, but Jesus Christ. I'm going to go finally talk to that boy I've been eyeballing. But I found out that he's kind of a creepo because my friend revealed that to me in an earlier scene. Can't let that scene speak for itself.
That episode, I mean, I understand that she had to know that he's into sexy girls before she lies about having her nudes up on Instagram.
Yeah.
But is that what the kids are into? But it feels...
He made a really weird motion because he clearly has no idea what the fuck Instagram is.
I'm using a trackball. But that was the only time where I felt like exposition was kind of right on top of it.
Yeah. And that boy doesn't go anywhere. We don't ever really see him again.
Plot points that almost don't go anywhere. The boy who likes nudes.
Yeah, he doesn't go anywhere.
They eventually come around to the two bitch teens at the birthday party.
Yeah. Well, and again, we'll talk about the ending here in a minute.
There are a few too many scenes that feel like I know where the scene is going, and it goes there anyway. Like the birthday scene where she got him the cooler version of Go Fish. She's gonna not know what it is. It's gonna be awkward and quiet. The scene where she tries to figure out what a blowjob is. Not what a blowjob is, but...
I still think the grapefruit video would have been hilarious.
Yes, it would have.
And I appreciate that, like, okay, like, any adult watching somebody go through 8th grade in real life can see all this stuff happening, and she doesn't. And so I think they're fine. That does not a movie make.
Well, it's like... There is a distinct difference between a fantastic movie and a movie that it feels good to watch.
Right, and I'm not saying every movie needs to be a feel-good movie. Requiem for a Dream is amazing, and I will never, ever watch it again.
I don't have to Requiem for a Dream every weekend with you. Like, but it's not a tough watch, but
it's not meant to make you comfortable. And in that, I think it does well. It knows that that's the kind of movie it is.
It's not it's not comfortable, but it doesn't go out of its way to make you feel uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah. It's very much letting the situation play for itself. The problem is those situations are really, really boring.
Yeah, they're pedantic to a fault. And you did say you don't care at all about the subject matter, and I get.
And yeah, I was telling John, for somebody who went through 8th grade with a single parent, like, I don't care. Like, I've lived this. I've seen this. No thanks.
Okay,
Why make a movie? That's my big question, is why make a movie about this? Okay. Who is this for?
Who is I guess, like, Bo Burnham's Nerds was about kids that struggle with that, I guess.
Right, and I liked Nerds because it was 3 minutes long.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Length. Before we started, I Googled the runtime of this movie, and I said an hour and a half. I don't think it can get away with being any longer than that.
Right.
Some movies have to be an hour and a half.
Right, and again, I think, in my opinion, it's too long.
Like the Blair Witch Project, it has to be 80 minutes. Mm-hmm. There's just no way.
This would have monumentally benefited from being 80 minutes.
Could we have a couple of the scenes, maybe? Yeah, it's not plotting, I guess, is it's correct. It's not quite the word I want to use.
Yeah, it's just there's too many scenes that perform the same function.
Okay, that's a great way to put it.
There's just too much of it.
They do interact with different people, like the Crush and Gabe and those two bullies and the dad again and the high schoolers and the dad a third time.
And the dad a fourth time.
Well, we'll get to the dad.
And then the rape scene.
Whoa! People are like, I gotta keep watching for the fucking rape scene.
No, nobody gets raped on screen.
Nobody. Okay,
it's not that kind of movie.
We're gonna get to the technical direction in a little bit. The last point I want to bring out is.
Oh no! I got more points to bring out.
About
the movie in general before we get to the tech stuff.
Okay, we'll get to the tech stuff. There are. Every movie, and it's just part of plot structure, has the all is lost moment, the emotional valley. And that valley is the scene where after she's hanging out with the high school kids, her shadow goes home and she's stuck in the car with this high schooler she doesn't know. And then they park and he gets in the back seat with her. And every flag in your brain goes off and you're like,
again, as an adult, I can watch this and go, this guy is about to make a wrong move. As an adult, I can see that. As an 8th grader, you cannot.
And I understand that she's in an awkward situation and it feels bad and they really convey the bad feeling well. That I want to go through and do a time comparison about how long each and every one of those awkward scenes goes on for, because the time dilation is crazy. That I felt like was longer than any other scene in the movie.
Right, but it didn't feel as long because I don't know, it's not, oh, I'm going to go sit in a corner because I don't feel like no, this is a struggle people really deal with. And not that being awkward and making friends is easy, but Jesus Christ, this guy told her to take her shirt off. He's a senior in high school.
And I trusted Bo Burnham not to feel like he had to get real for that to be a struggle.
It got exactly as real as it needed to.
Yes, to get the point across. And there's she runs into the scene, out into her room, and she's crying in the background, and it leads to another scene we'll get to. But, and this is a good segue into tech direction before we go into
the ending.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to really talk about the ending.
Okay, we'll talk about the ending at the end, but to address the tech direction, the movie had a solid tech direction, but an obtrusive one that had a 1.5 trick pony to it.
Who the fuck did that score?
Okay, now here, let's be honest. The score is
The score is good. The sound mixing.
Okay, the songs are good. Well, one of my favorite movies is It Follows, which kind of repopularized the synth score in film, but it
let's repopularize something that was never popular in the first place.
hey. But I noticed this right away, and it continued to be consistently mediocre. was while the synth is it's mixed way too high in the track.
Like, imagine you're sitting way too close to the speakers in a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
The whole movie feels that way.
Yeah. And those tracks, if they were toned down a bit, maybe, and I understand that the movie likes to but it likes to show you a thing and then put non-diegetic music over it, or non-diegetic of her vlogs on top of it. It just let the visuals speak for themselves, and I think it does it consistently, I guess, almost to the point of wearing it out a little bit.
Yeah, it's like all the scenes of her walking, and I think this is part of what makes the scenes feel really long. All of the scenes of her like walking to class, or walking through the house, or walking, walking to her desk or whatever. Like, yeah, or even walking up to the school. There's this just like loud, obtrusive, just glaringly, teeth-clenchingly score over it. And as John said, the score is fine. It's good.
It's fine. It's way too high in the mix.
It's way too loud.
One thing it didn't upset me, but they did it maybe too many times. Like, it was cool. They love to audio smash cut with an action on screen.
Yeah.
To direct silence, like when the synth score after the rape scene. She closed the door, and when the door closes, it's a hard cut to silence.
Yeah. And they do that opposite, too. Whenever the boy who likes blowjobs is on screen, it's like this really loud, groovy, catchy thing. And then when he actually talks, it's silent.
Yeah, so they're talking, and when she's trying to ignore her dad, it's non-diegetic, but when she takes out the earphone, it fades out for people, which is like, it's neat, I guess.
It's neat, like, but you don't have to be like, oh, look what I can do.
Real quick, no, I'm sure they had neat ideas. Bo likes to technically direct things. I don't know to what degree he had freedom on the technical direction side, but
I'm not analyzing this movie with regards to Bo at all.
Okay, let's touch on that active shooter scene.
Oh yeah,
that freaked me out the most, not because of how it was portrayed, but the fact that it exists. They're having an active shooter drill, which is something that we did not have in middle school.
Right, yeah, that's definitely a sign of the times.
And I went to middle school in 2004-ish.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where she goes over and she's trying to make any kind of conversation. And he says something to the effect of, like, you think there'd ever be a shooting drill? It's like, I wish.
Yeah, so it's a shooting drill and they have to get under their desks. And she crawls over to where the boy who likes blowjobs is, who is on his phone.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, tries to get anything to talk about him. And the only time he looks up is when she said she has dirty nudes.
But the idea that he would, like, that an active shooter would be a power fantasy for him to, like, fuck up the thing and take his gun and kick his ass.
Sounds like my cousin.
But, like, with people, with teenagers especially, people have said, like, it's like simultaneously everything is too real and nothing is real.
Yeah, and I really don't want to sound up my own ass about this. But from an anthropological standpoint, boys mature much slowly than girls do. And so, I don't know if the movie was going for this or if this was his intent, but the idea that he is still on this, to me, very kind of infantile power fantasy.
Well, he's
of,
a
like,
teenage boy, I get.
Right, but, like, you still get the idea that's like, yeah, I could totally fuck that guy up, and she clearly is at a level where, like, nope, no, you fucking can't. Like...
Yeah, so that goes somewhere. It has all the same technical direction, weirdness about it, with the loud score and the clipping.
Yeah. Now
we can talk about the dad, I think, and now we can talk about the final scene.
Yeah, can we talk about the ending?
Yeah.
So the ending has an emotional... The ending is quite long. It has several... And by that I mean it is not long runtime. It has several parts.
Okay, that's a good way to put it.
The first scene is the first scene is the major scene. She opens this box that she got when during the first week of 6th grade they buried time capsules or whatever.
And this is what I really like, is that they show you this SpongeBob, what I thought was an eraser.
Yeah.
And they put it away and it's never mentioned again because I didn't have a good beat on the DP's sort of cinematography. Later in the movie, when she pulls that back out, it turns out to be a USB port.
Yeah. And she plugs the USB port in, and it is a video of her talking to her, and so it's a video of 6th grade her talking to her in 8th grade. And she kind of like there's this really poignant moment that I wanted with the other vlog scenes, where she realizes that the person she wanted to be when she was in 6th grade is not who she became, and she has to square herself with that and to realize that. And so she runs downstairs. Would you like to talk about the downstairs?
Oh my God, Jesus. It's a really well composed visual shot.
She has not voluntarily talked to her dad all movie.
That's what was the most powerful, I feel like. And it's the moment where they finally address it.
Yeah.
And I think the school scenes, they drag quite a bit, but the scenes with the dad where he's like, okay, goodbye, but one more thing. Okay, but one more thing. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm a weird dad, bye. Those are set up for this scene. Because she comes downstairs, he's on his phone.
No, he's on a he's on like a
something. He's
thing.
on something, and he goes, "Hey, can you help me go outside and burn something?"
And he's like, yes.
Okay.
Like exactly as hesitant as I was saying.
It was a really well delivered.
Very well delivered. Very well acted.
They go outside, and this scene is allowed to breathe, but it's given space. But unlike the other awkward scenes, it's allowed to breathe.
And guess what, everyone? There's no overarching score.
There's no soundtrack.
It is silent.
It keeps going, and they have this cute scene about how, I wish I liked you. I wish that I was a better daughter. I hope I don't like upset you or let you down in some way.
Yeah, she says, literally, this is quite poignant, so I wanted to bring it up. She says, I feel like if I had a daughter and she turned out like me, that would make me really sad. And the dad, of course, refutes her because he's not a heartless animal.
Of course.
And yeah, there's this really good, and then you finally find out what happened to the mom, as she must have left at like a really
very young
age.
It's a divorce, not a death. So,
yeah. Well, it's more of like she walked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they just had this like really legitimate moment where the dad like actually sits down and tells her how he sees her. And if number one, I feel like parents don't fucking do that long enough, and two, like again, yeah, like I don't know, what was your take on the scene?
I really like it, and I noticed as soon as she went over and hugged him at the scene, that I was like, interesting. No score here.
Yes. Oh my God. Like when everything is so blaring and gross and in your face, to let that silent moment breathe. It was really, really refreshing.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, so it was a good scene, and like again, allowed to breathe, and that's only the first part of the ending.
There's another scene where
it's the graduation scene.
They're all in line to get their fake middle school diplomas.
Yeah, because who cares?
Nobody cares. And she finally says that she has to not stand up to it, because in Napoleon Dynamite, the stand up to the bully scene is his dance, and it's given with an air of finality. And she's like, "Ha, gotcha. I did the thing. I overcame the thing."
Okay, but that's not how the scene starts. The scene starts with Boy Who Likes Blowjobs. I don't even fucking remember his name.
Aiden is his name.
There we go. She
reprising his role as Boy Who Likes Blowjobs.
So he walks past her, and she's like, you can see this on her face, where she's like, no, I'm gonna go talk to him. She goes to follow him to the end of the line and stops when she sees the two bullies, the two bully chicks, who for some reason aren't in robes.
Okay, but the speech that she gives to them, it doesn't have an air of preparedness or finality or authority or any kind to it.
It sounds like one of her videos.
It's, oh my God.
And it sounds like one of the first time she ever like speaks her mind in a non-video setting is when she really just verbally reams into this girl, and like in like an awkward, believable way. But she's like, I'm nothing but nice to you, and you are constantly mean to me. You're constantly shitting on me. I gave you things. You don't even appreciate them. You need to stop trying to be so cool all the time.
And while it was super awkward and it fell kind of flat on its ass, but like she's got a smile like, oh, I did it. Like it was awkward, but I did it. And
you notice you don't see the girl's reaction. Because she delivers that last line and then she just walks away.
And the girl's reaction really isn't important.
Exactly, and that's the shot that drives that home, is like what happened, like whatever the bully's reaction is does not matter. The point is that she did that and forgets about man who wants blowjobs.
Okay. Oh my god, that's gonna be his name now.
Boy who wants blowjobs. I was never asked for a blowjob in 8th grade.
I also was never asked for a blowjob.
I know people who gave them, and I'm just like, why?
Jesus, stop. There is a the final scene is a very stated first hangout time. It's not
first friendship time.
Friendship hangout time. They have nuggets.
With the cousin. We didn't explain who the cousin was.
Yeah, the cousin of the bitchy girl. They met in one of the first scenes, and
one of the awkward party scenes.
Hey, I want to hang out. So they hang out, and it's decidedly less awkward. They always say, "Hey, am I talking too much? Am I talking not enough? Am I being weird?" No, you're not being weird, and they're okay with being awkward and doing that.
Get you a guy who will buy a nice shirt and buy you 20 nuggets, put 10 of them on a plate with fries, and arrange all the sauces by the color of the rainbow.
Yeah, that was really cute, and it does cut in an appropriate place.
But before the cut.
We're not going to talk about that.
Oh, come on. That was awesome.
One of the awkwardness that really caught me off guard, and it really speaks to Bo's writing, is at one point...
they're just like, they're having a silent moment.
To make discussion, Gabe is the kid's name, and he's a really good actor, too. He's just like, the first question he asks while they're eating, trying to make conversation is, do you believe in God?
We had to pause the movie to like let that sink in.
There, as it keeps going, there are less and less awkward exchanges, and then she goes home and the movie ends. I know we got to wrap this up, but
the movie ends with her making a video for her high school graduate self and saying like, if high school sucked for you, she says lots of things, but the one that stuck out to me, if high school sucked for you, I'm sorry.
Middle school sucked for me.
Middle school wasn't great for me, but there's life beyond this. You move on, you make new friends, and it's fine.
And then the movie's just over. I like it.
I don't really.
I knew you weren't gonna like. Well, not that you weren't gonna like it, but
I didn't want to go in shitting on this. I'm just saying again, how exciting can you make a video about movie about 8th grade?
I also won't call it important. I won't say I liked it because the message was important.
Yeah, there's nothing really driven home. I do appreciate its portrayal of teenage life without either shitting on it or glorifying it.
That's actually the thing that he was praised the most for.
Yeah, it is a beautiful middle of the road movie that does not make it good or interesting.
I'd give it a shot and probably not watch it again, but it's a really cool debut, and if he made a second movie, I would take a look at that.
And again, I'm trying to deconnect it from Bo here.
Well, he did a good job, and I'm glad that I have like things that I want to shit on here.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect to.